Hi everybody, and thank you for being with me one more month. And to the newbies, welcome. Hopefully we're going to be friends for a long time. Just really quick news that I want to share with you is that a couple of weeks ago the channel hit 3 million views, and it is a big milestone, and I really love it, and it's really encouraging me to continue, as I don't like to cut corners, and I really want to give you the best possible reading, so you kind of like can get an idea if I only focus on your own energy, how that's going to look like. Just like the one today, monthlies are more kind of like extensive, so kind of like buckle up, right? I like to do it properly. Shorter version, this might be a long version on YouTube. Some people like long. Short version is much easier for any reader. You just like snap them up, but that to me looks like cutting corners, right? And plus we are going through Mercury retrograde. I'm still expecting a whole bunch of stuff to go wrong. Also, Instagram started their own TV, IGTV, and I'll try to place short version with a twist on Instagram. So if you are social media kind of like fan, if you like to maybe do different things and different aspects, you know how the reading gives you something initially, it might not even resonate, but then you come back a week later and say, well, actually this happened, because this is sort of like projecting your own energies to me. I'm simply mirroring back to what I'm feeling. So let's start with kind of like the general kind of card for all the signs for the Cancer period. And happy birthday, Cancer. I love the sign of Cancer. It's like so nice and gentle, and really like for somebody who is like air, we need water friends around. So kind of like very conveniently, the kitty cat jumped out as a kind of overall energy. So look at that. Is there any card like that can actually describe being on top of the world right now? Sort of like celebration of success, right? And of course it is celebration with cat. So you're kind of probably jointly feeling that there is like some kind of change happening. Maybe we are all of a sudden willing to accept challenges of life or changes, and this is kind of like talking about probably enjoying a wonderful ride on the tiger of success. So we need to welcome it, we need to enjoy it, and most importantly we really need to share our joy with others. And remember, sort of like that every parade does have beginning but also has an end. So keep that in mind. Squeeze anything you can. That means like you're not staying at home and just mulling it over. You kind of like are supposed to kind of like let others kind of rub off on your kind of like feeling of kind of being in the zone. So keep in mind that kind of it's really good to kind of like ride a tiger, and this all shall pass. And this kind of is card teaching us that we need to enjoy these special moments in life, no matter how short they are and no matter how elusive they are, but they will be here this month. So how about we start? You guys have really interesting kind of mix. Knight of Chalices with the Devil reversed peeking right from the under. You have reconciliation. Someone from your past is returning to your life. And then you have that Meadow. So reconciliation can mean an actual person. It can mean just somebody else. Sometimes we meet the same person over and over again. They only arrive in different bodies. There is like something that didn't work, that maybe had involvement of the third party, and it went crashing down. Now it's kind of really interesting that you're also getting this meadow card kind of thrown in the mix. And this is kind of like the card, look at it, like it's inviting with beauty and openness. It's so rare to see. Imagine you're only one there. It's like kind of that Sound of Music movie, just like open your arms and just like twirl and twirl and twirl, kind of like really connecting with the nature. And it's kind of like point of this card, right? And for some, it's kind of like idea of being in that place could be terrifying, because it's kind of like very, you know, expansive. And maybe you're feeling exposed, maybe you're feeling defenseless, especially if there is like an animal or some kind of prey animal coming toward us, right? Because some of us have that safety more built in than the others. So for others, it's going to be awesome experience, right? Enjoying the 360 view and nothing but it's just beautiful sky above. So I think giving the all three, you're possibly now in a place where you can take risks with your feelings. Maybe you have learned something, and right now you have bet on you. So even if people come and do stuff, because the Knight of Chalice is reversed, does have a tendency of manipulating, saying wonderful things and just vanishing as quickly as they enter our lives. But the truth is, it's up to us. If we know who we are, then this is not really affecting us. So it's almost going to be some form of a test. So as I said, take some kind of risks with not only with your feelings, but also with the truth of who you really are. You actually know that truth in your heart and in your soul. You kind of like have to kind of like get out of that conditioned fears, you know, and you know, you have to let others know who you really are. It is kind of like very important. Sometimes, especially you guys are very structured, you guys are very process driven. It is kind of like really hard for you to let other people down. Maybe it is a time to sit back and say, hey, you know what, like now this is kind of like I need to take care of me. Because you may have gone through it, and maybe this is something you're still working with when others kind of judge you, they criticize you, you always feel that you're somehow evaluated, and this is really pushing this bad Virgo buttons, like perfectionist kind of a thing, right? And keep in mind, there's a really real possibilities that somebody is going to kind of like start creating this really wonderful world, but at the same time you're going to feel it's kind of like really, really weird. So you do have this time around the strength to deal with these reactions, rather than responding adaptively and always playing it safe, or even worse yet, being a victim. Vulnerability is saying, sure, yeah, I'm opening my eyes to you, right? I'm opening my arms to you as well. So you're not holding back from basically doing that, but also you are also not going to be holding back from expressing your truth. And you're not going to kind of like subscribe to that kind of like safety feeling, but you're going to be sort of armed with this new feeling of, hey, I can handle it, I bet on me, I am kind of having faith in me. And you can actually choose to be vulnerable, because only when you're vulnerable you actually become your kind of like authentic self, and you can kind of like handle interactions and our life easier and better. So let's see what else is hiding in your monthly reading. So let's see, Virgos. Yeah, you have been feeling with some estrangement from somebody, maybe some loss. I can see that you're really, really, really working on yourself. That's kind of like, you probably should be example for everybody, given how you're doing. It's kind of interesting that you had this Knight of Cups reversed, and then you also had the Devil underneath hiding, which is now confirming with this card of codependency. So 10 of Pentacles, Ace of Wands reversed, 6 of Swords, Page of Wands, Seven of Pentacles, the Temperance reversed, oops, the Moon, King of Wands reversed, Four of Cups reversed, and Five of Swords. Okay, so let's start with this perspective in the past. What are you bringing into this timing and the situation? You have tried to work on something, give your relationship a chance, work on your relationship. You probably started some actions. Maybe you started therapy going in this direction, but it just got hard. You kind of like felt that you were doing this just by yourself. You didn't have joint efforts over there, and it was like maybe that somebody just said, no, we have to kind of meander this way forever. Maybe they didn't explicitly say that, but it sort of like was, look at these two kitties just passing by the shelter, that, you know, it can actually help them. It can help them heal. It can help them, you know, recover. Same thing here. There is like this sense of, even though there is like a huge comfort and there is like here a huge discomfort, now this is definitely adding up to kind of adding layers to your personality, because you're represented in tarot with the card number 9, the Hermit. And look, it's here, we have a 4 and 5, we have this 9. You were seeking yourself and you were trying to really improve, and it's kind of like sometimes really hard when we do that, and when we kind of like realize that improvement is great, but hey, we actually need somebody else to contribute to that process and they don't want to do it, that can be like really huge letdown. I also feel that, you know, there is like finally moving on from something that has been leaning very heavily. I did scratch certain things that are nonsense. Majority of descriptions here are nonsense, but here is really talking about is something that, you know, stars didn't align. Maybe you really tried to work on it, and in the end it just like was just like fizzled away. And you're kind of understanding this. You're understanding that maybe you're still carrying some swords from that experience, and sort of like maybe you're not even looking at it right now. You see, they are sort of like behind these keys, and there is like still kind of idea to go to the other side, to not to kind of like really dip into those turbulent waters, in spite of possibly fear. As you can see, look at those big eyes, right? It's kind of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I have been through it, right? It's almost like some kind of like chariot pushing things forward, and there's a little one. So it could be that you're a kind of like protective parent. It also could be that this is like your inner soul, that something is waking up, and I'm sort of like feeling it, that something in you clicked, right? Something in you is going forward. There is that looks like somebody who has been in your life who kind of like almost like uprooted your life. It almost like kind of make you feel that you always have to be on your toes. And no wonder that Kitty is looking back, because you have the King of Chalices, of 2 of Pentacles over here. You know, look at this water element we have everywhere. This is definitely something emotional, but look at these emotions are seen from the swords level. Swords are always how you process and thinking can cause even more pain, because we go through the emotions. Oh, why, and why this, and why that, and generally sometimes there is no why answer, right? Or it can be as simple as, you know, it just wasn't meant to be. And here, like, you kind of like felt you met somebody very romantic, very like diligent. Like, this is kind of a question for you. Hey, I have seen all these beautiful qualities in you. So what happened? Why did that happen? Something got intercepted. Somebody pushed the wrench into things. If you're single, this actually talks about something from the past that actually affected you and is still affecting you. it's kind of like you being an earth sign, like you really need that ground, right? Because look, it's going up and down, and this is really talking about sometimes juggling, but it could be also that you need to rebalance yourself. Maybe you were too hyper, maybe you had anxiety, and from anxieties, which is kind of like in your head, you went into depression, which is in your heart. So that kind of like kept going. I think some of you had really stabilizing effect of your own family. You have this, you deserve love. And I don't know, like I see the water signs here for you. I see fire signs so far. And it's saying, look, you're lovable. It was almost that you maybe felt, oh my gosh, it's just not going to happen to me. What the heck? I can let myself go, and who cares? But it looks like you had people around you, whether this is like your biological family or family that you have established, such as your friends and your support system. But these people have been there to render advice. Mind you, it was like with sort of conditions attached, because, you know, people kind of find sense of who they are through their own life, through their own rules. But nonetheless, this kind of like was something that almost like was a golden advice in a sense. And look at here, you have this Knight of Chalices. What was this? Oh, that was a Knave of Chalices. Oh, sorry. Very similar message, but sort of like even more immature. But here, you know what? That's what it was. You have been facing people who just didn't have maturity to actually understand the process. Because the knaves, and here we had the knave, was like, yeah, maybe even you have been immature to some kind of level. Knaves are pages, right? So pages are messengers, but it's kind of very kind of like starting energy. Just think about a child, somebody 10, 12, where they're just positioning themselves in the world, but they know everything, which kind of like we usually giggle because, oh my gosh, you have a long journey in front of you. But here, it's a more mature thing coming your way. Knight of Chalices is exactly, you deserve love, and it's going to be love, especially if you're a woman. It's going to be really interesting flavor, because look at this. Again, you have three flavors. You have wands, and you have, you know, cups, and you have pentacles. And sometimes you get, I don't know, wands and water only. And it's kind of like, okay, what the fire and water, what do they do? Okay, they do steam, yes, but they also do kind of like lava, hot lava. And, you know, it kind of like really depends on the mix. Sometimes chocolate, some people like chocolate with mint. Some people don't. I don't. I kind of like just can't imagine even eating that together. I never liked those little chocolate tea cookies. But this, for you, this time is going to be really interesting, because you do have this ground. And somebody's coming very kind of loving, which, careful, you might actually be a little bit defensive, even though this card is generally kind of really good. It's generally saying, look at the opposition. But the opposition is going against the winner, because there is somebody who claimed their victory. I think it was you guys. You've been, looks like, walking through hot coals. I have another 7 here. There is a definite spiritual shift that you guys have been going through, and really I feel that some of you did let yourselves go. I really feel you kind of like really tapped in the dark, but oh my gosh, I think that something has been going recently that this kind of recovery happened. Maybe you had to give yourself some time, because after all, your card, the Hermit, is, look, just leave me alone. I just really need to recharge my own batteries right now, because just consider me dead, right? And this defensiveness can be positive and can be negative. Positive is, stay away from my food. This is mine and only mine, and I don't want to share it. This is kind of like coming to me, if to translate it to you, the 7 of Wands, is you know what you want. You know how hard you worked, and you're not going to let anybody to kick you down. But it's kind of fine balance in between it, right? Because that's where the growth process goes. And it's telling you, you still have to do some work. You still have this kind of glory. Look at this unicorn kind of trapped in this kind of little fence. You need to jump out. something from the past cannot grow. Like something has to happen in a different direction, right? And part of this is understanding who you are. I think you need to still work on some kind of healing. There's like still some kind of time you need to spend for yourself, by yourself, you know, to yourself, where this is my ultimate card of ships, you know, friendships, relationships, partnerships. And there is like this observation of, you know, almost like therapy, like, okay, what do I do here, right? You know, you have like this healing aspect of that, is freeing yourself. It's not necessarily leaving the home and going in a different city, even though it can mean that. This actually can be a card of travel as well. And it can be a card of maybe delayed travel or canceled travel. Well, hello, Mercury retrograde, right? So, and it can make somebody explosive. Like Strength card is all about learning the balance, learning that taming ourselves, learning that sure, you know, like we want to tell somebody off, like, you know, like the moment when you arrive to work, right? But it's really telling us, let's not do that. This is really, I don't care. Yes, they kind of like are obnoxious, but I'm going to kind of hold kind of like myself. See, when this kind of reverses, it's kind of like our worst kind of instincts are coming out. We kind of, so the combination can be bad. So I would just say that given that you have that reconciliation card, you might be very, very iffy if you even want to go back in the past, because you crossed that bridge and it was hard, walking on the thorns, walking through hot coals. And hot coals, oh my gosh, it's so hot in here that I can't even talk anymore. This is hard. This comes to us naturally when we are children, and then we learn to protect ourselves and we build walls. When people hurt us, we build walls thinking, no, not going to happen to me. This has been very, very painful. But to come back to that, it's the sign of huge progress. It's a huge kind of like positioning and healing that had to take place, really, really in a really good direction. So what is crowning you here is, this could be the 1 and 7 of Pentacles. You are maybe reassessing how far you went. If you guys are with somebody, you know, maybe that's sort of like getting to some kind of stage where you're kind of really saying, okay, actually, you know what, this maybe is not just a shrub. This actually can grow further, right? You have an 8 of Cups. Oh boy, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, guys. Mercury retrograde, Mercury retrograde, Mercury retrograde. You have 8 of Cups and you have 6 of Cups. So check this out. In this position, and this is actually, by the way, the card for, I think today? No, for tomorrow, for June the 5th, interestingly enough. So this can actually really happen really, really quickly for you, given that this is really appearing. This is the idea of something starting to turn in a new direction. You see, here Kitty was, oh, well, let's see, it's interesting. It's this nighttime outside. Look at the moon. And the moon has a cat face. I didn't realize that before. Can you see it now? Lovely. But look at this. All these interesting stuff and all of these cups of milk that I had over here. Oh, but hey, look at what's outside, right? So that's what happens in Eight of Cups. We have a lot, but we still think that maybe something else maybe could be very interesting, could be better. So maybe somebody was just like that. So maybe somebody left you out in the cold for, oh, I have to find myself, or right now I don't want to be in a relationship. We all go through stages in life, right? And that somebody now did try and realize, I already had what I wanted. Which is kind of like double with this, because this does talk about past and process and about, you know, some loving. So your exes might be appearing, or you might meet this new ex, as I said, or pardon me, new person who is going to be sort of like flavor of your ex. It can be the chocolate or mint or whatever pistachio that you like. My favorite is a pistachio. So where is this going? It looks like somebody might appear and you're going to say, I am not so sure. Not so sure with you. Even though it says it is safe for you to love, right? It says open your heart. And here it's saying open your heart. you are vulnerable, but not stupid. Because you're saying, it has to be a right mix of options, right mix of opportunities, right? The temperance is the right time, the right place, the right person, the right situation. Whoops, some of that is missing over here. Ooh, the karma card and the sun card. But look at that. Look at all the stuff that is happening here. First of all, I don't know, for some of you, you may have divorced here. Maybe you guys went through bad breakup or bad divorce, and you really felt that's it. Nothing is going to happen. As I see here, that quite a few of you have just given up. It's just me. I have to lick my wounds, and I'm not going to be part of this anymore. And you almost like get angry with yourself and defensive, even if somebody pushes you. And I kind of like can't sympathize with you. I have been through those stages myself. And right now, lots of things are going to be resurfacing really shortly. And this is saying that is going to come to the surface, to the fore, how life can be unfair. Because we are very fair toward people, and we get nothing but them biting us, right? Or you give them one finger, they just won't grab everything, and if they don't get the entire hand or entire arm, they're going to bite you. And you know, there is like some sense of kind of like burnout, of things not going in this direction. For those of you who actually have that ex reappearing, maybe somebody who you already know from the past, not this ex in a new body, I think it might be somebody who you already been with, maybe even married, maybe that you even have children. And, you know, you might be reconsidering kind of like their entry in your life, but it's not going to be right now. You're still feeling very much thrown off with something that felt karmic or something that felt like twin flame-ish. You can check my twin flame reading to see how that connects. Now, emotions are, you see, you have the sun reverse, which kind of goes to that darkness, right? And here you have the darkness. So there is like still something, or maybe you're fearing there are more things that need to kind of be brought up, because this is ultimately about conscious, about subconscious, about what's hiding behind what is in the shadows. Are the shadows kind of like scaring us or giving us the wrong clues? Just clearly decide what you want. It comes to you now. So maybe you have issues with, oh my God, I want to go upstairs and I want to go downstairs at the same time, and it's like what you're doing, you're just like trembling in a spot, right? So this is not a good card. It's card of shadows. It's card of like fear. It's card of like, I really need to know myself better. See, it's kind of like you have also Knave of Pentacles. Like, what, do you have them all right now? So 1, 2, 3. Why did I think we had 4? 3. No, that was the Knight. So definitely there are messages, and for you these messages are going to appear in your dreams. So have a notebook next to your bed, and you don't remember it in the morning, but you will remember because in the middle of the night you wake up with that message, but immediately you go down and sleep, and it's kind of like hard drive is erased. But if you have a notebook, you can just give yourself a few keywords and you will remember it in the morning. It's just how it works. And this is also how you don't remember past lives, how you don't remember your own karma lesson. You can get karmic reading, you can get past lives readings with me. You see, here it's like a whole bunch of stuff that are still hidden, that are still weirding you out, that you don't want to move in a direction. In fact, it's telling you, hey, you would be really foolish to kind of like continue this. There is like, Virgo has fears of putting, you know, their feet in the water. I can see that, and I understand. I mean, what I see over here, that, you know, somebody was like running hot and cold on you. I'm like, so why would you run right now? Like, you've been so many times kind of like let down in the situation. So of course, you know, not this time, Jose, kind of a thing, right? So your environment, you see, there is somebody showing up that you want to have a conversation. You might actually initiate a conversation. That's maybe why you have all these pagans. Oh my gosh, look at his Freudian slips. Peasants. Why did that come out? Pages. Passengers in your life. I think that's probably what wanted to come out. Because that's what it is. They were on your life, on your journey. It was a station, like one of the train stations, and it's a kind of time for you to move forward. Maybe you really want to kind of get some answers. They might not give it to you. You know how people are. But oh my gosh, you actually might either get it, or you might be getting them through your dreams, because voila, like conversation is there. There is somebody who is moving on, or maybe that's the message, right? It was a time to move to the new stage, and somebody here is single, but in a really, really good way. Somebody who is really enjoying, look at it as a kitty and falcon coexisting in a situation where everybody has what they need. So it's almost like saying, look, it was better for the two of us to be on our own, because the certain things just couldn't work out. This King of Wands, and now you have the World, and you have Nine of Pentacles. It's kind of interesting because also you had Fool, as you can see, very similar flavor in the cards. She's dreaming about getting here, but she's dreaming about getting to the same spot. So saying just a new cycle is starting, right? We're here, you're looping in that cycle. Now, this is one of those cards that has something hidden in this card that most people don't realize. You see this kind of red bow? Well, that's the infinity sign twisted over there. It's hiding in it, sort of that's something perpetual. Look at these perpetual motions. These tassels, if you look at them, almost look like little hands, right? Karma hands, kind of like moving forward, right? So there are new dreams, new pastures to look like. And it's kind of like almost telling me that maybe you're going to get realization over someone. I'm going to see, oh, well, this is really how you think. I thought that was directed toward me. So it's one thing is like something is personal, and another thing is if something global. Because this person is kind of like, oh my gosh, let's go, let's get together, let's move forward, blah, 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 right? And like, so you start feeling like energized because it looks like there was expression of love, there was this, but then equally they just come out. And there also, this person could be a manipulator, that could be married, that could have their own life entirely on their own, but at the time they kind of had some extra space and they're really not seeing anything wrong with that. Realizing this, you can go like, whew, I really dodged a bullet, kind of a thing. And yeah, you know what? Check this out, I actually agree with you. I am better off being on my own, kind of a thing. So hopes and fears, and this goes back to this, right? And you have codependency, talking about addictions, also talking about codependency. And then you have here Four of Cups. So we'll talk about the Devil card as well. You have Seven of Cups reversed, and there is another 7. And then you have like 6 of Wands. So, okay. What's the story here? Story is 6, 10, 17, 1 and 7, 8. And again goes back to this strength. Again is returning back to what you think in a core. Because I guess there is like this tension that you feel, well, you know what, I really want to start moving forward. I want to kind of have new friends. I need to have something new, fresh, but it's really feeling bad that I have lost something or somebody, or even feeling the sense of losing, period, loser, right? Kind of a thing. And that's kind of like what is really still clouding you and kind of like not giving you a clear direction. Codependency is like when somebody enters our life, and this is your hope and this is your fear. So hence, more or less, I would say you are hoping to resolve certain issues. The fear is, again, you don't want to go through the same situation all over again. You kind of like, again, is that kind of like essence of rest. You have like these fours needing to kind of like firm yourself down, but you're actually now getting You're starting to feel disgusted over something or somebody maybe who took some kind of like options away from you, who maybe just wanted sex. This is like definitely card of the winner. In relationships, not such thing, winning and losing. And look at here, you have 6 and you have 6 and you have 15. 1 and 5 is 6. So that's basically a karmic connection, which can be also twin flame, and it is there for a reason and for a season. And part of that was for you to actually travel, continue traveling your own path, right? And this codependence need to be addressed, because you see, look at in this card, this kitties here, one thinks is a dog, another one thinks is a rabbit. So they can actually, with those chains, they can just simply just overthrow them and they're gone. But they're choosing to stay there. They're choosing not to wiggle out. When this reverses, those chains are falling, and you kind of like almost don't have any other choice but dealing with that. So dealing with something that, you know, has been counterproductive or not beneficial in your life. So forgiving and learning. And again, as I said, there is like something about victory. This is the second card that is actually really coming over here. And look at that. This is somebody almost like, oh my gosh, look at that. I won. And everybody else somehow feels like a loser. So this is not supposed to become a game. Because if it does, you are not healing. The healing is codependency, where we need to shake off whatever was an issue. If an issue was drugs, you need to deal with that. If the issue was better diet, you need to deal with this. If the issue is letting yourself go, you need to deal with that. If the issue is that this person made you hollow and empty, you need to feed yourself, because you cannot make other people responsible. And here is simply saying that forgiving and learning is very important. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. And that's true. You know, if you have a glass and that glass is, let's say, half full, half empty, whichever way you want to look at it, then you leave it for a while, you start getting all the cultures in there and all this black stuff. And so what can you do? You can empty it and start all over, but you need to wash it as well, right? In order for the stuff not to just be right back there. And that's what happens when a new partner comes in. I think you're really well aware of that. Or you can just add extra water. It's still going to be there, not as much, so you're helping yourself. So what is the best? The best is like to empty, rinse it, and start building fresh. So here is like understanding that maybe something has been hard, but you know, maybe it was not something kind of gorgeous victory, but it was victory nonetheless. And look at this, you have the Nine of Wands and you have Queen of Swords. There is like this motion forward. Like there is like somebody else coming in your life. Like there are really high vibration, high energy cards coming through it, like 3 of them, right? You are really dealing and working with your own issues, and you're kind of like really needing to move to the next stage. Actually, that's really lovely for Mercury retrograde. Really, I wish that every sign deals with their own crap and cleans it. But no. We kind of like, it's too hard, we cannot do it. So let me just read to you. You got actually 2 cards. One is like coming apart. Another one was talisman reversed. So let's start with this one. It says, now it is the time to take separate paths. So reconciliation could be very temporarily, given that you are now Virgo 2.0, and somebody who is 1.0 doesn't vibrate with you, and you are recognizing this. Where was this kitty standing its ground? Where is this? And you're saying, no, I'm not going there anymore. Not anymore. Kind of important to take care of me. So let me read you this. The coming apart card is a sign to put an end to what is no longer working for you. Has a commitment been broken? Perhaps you need to break a promise or change course because you took on more than you could handle. This is a perfect time to assess your goals and values. Are your actions in alignment with what you believe in? Have you created a partnership that is not mutually beneficial? Separation, dissolution, and dispersion are all in focus now. If somebody wishes to break away from you, don't chase the relationship out of a sense of fear. The price you'll pay will not be worth the prize. Separation brings good fortune. Yeah, good fortune. So what's the talisman reversed over here? A reverse talisman card warns you that you must be aware of the repetitive patterns in your life. Yep, we have seen that. Sometimes the things that feel most familiar carry with them reminders of what you don't want to experience again. Yet, here you are, faced with an important choice. Reconciliation. You can move forward cautiously. Vulnerability. We had that as well. Or you can look for another path that will take you in a new direction. Consider this. If you have fallen down a hole a few times, why wouldn't you walk around it this time? If you know where the hole lies, treasure that wisdom. Although the universe is unlimited, every individual path has some limitations. Accepting that not all avenues are available to you at this time is a powerful realization. That said, you don't have to retrace your footsteps either. No matter what, you are on this path to gain greater wisdom, regardless of the choice you make. This is the time to ask others who have been here before for advice and assistance. Their wisdom will awaken your own. So my dear Virgo, this is the official part for July 2018. It is finished. If you really have a situation, or if you want your karmic reading or past life reading, please visit my website, cattarot.ca. You can also get student reading for a very basic question. You can just check it in the description in the box. And also my contact information is below if you need to contact me, and I would like to hear from you in the comments. And if you are still here with me and you haven't subscribed yet, just click on that red button, and that's going to tell you when I'm live. So hopefully you'll be able to interact and contribute your energy on live readings as well. Thank you so much. I congratulate you on this kind of like really diligent efforts this month, and until the next reading, you know that I love you, my Virgos. All the best.